Have you ever wondered what really happened to the fallen angels? Were they truly cast out of heaven forever, or is there something more to their story? Today, we're going to unravel the mysteries surrounding the fallen angels, their rebellion, and the consequences that followed. Stay with me, because what we're about to uncover might surprise you. It all begins with a celestial revolt, a rebellion that shook the very foundations of heaven. But why did these angels fall from grace? What led them to challenge God's authority? Today, we're going to explore some of the biggest questions surrounding this mysterious event. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's dive into a topic that's been fascinating and terrifying for centuries: the fall of the angels. Before we dive into the rebellion itself, let's take a moment to understand the true nature of these angels. In the scriptures, angels were created by God for specific, sacred purposes: to serve as messengers of divine will, to protect humanity, and to act as powerful warriors of light. These celestial beings were created in God's image, embodying purity, grace, and unparalleled strength. They were meant to dwell in harmony with God's perfect creation, carrying out His commands and maintaining peace in the celestial realms. However, not all angels remained loyal to their divine calling. Among them, some became known as the fallen angels, beings who once radiated light and glory but chose to abandon their purpose. But who exactly were these angels, and what led them to betray the very Creator they served? Why did they fall from such an exalted position? In the Bible, especially in the book of Isaiah and Revelation, we are introduced to a figure of immense beauty and power, Lucifer. Once regarded as the most beautiful and revered of all the heavenly hosts, Lucifer's radiance outshone even the brightest stars. He was not only an angel of light but also one of the highest-ranking beings in heaven, trusted with great authority. But something changed. What was it that led Lucifer, once God's most trusted servant, to challenge the Almighty? What caused him to fall, and why did a third of the angels follow him in rebellion? The answers lie within the celestial battle that would change the fate of heaven and earth forever. The rebellion in heaven began with a seed of pride planted deep within Lucifer's heart. Once the most exalted of all angels, Lucifer began to believe that his beauty and power made him equal to, or even greater than, God. He envisioned himself on the throne, ruling not only heaven but the entire universe. Lucifer's ambition grew unchecked, and he began to secretly plot the downfall of God himself. But he wasn't alone in his desire for power. Many other angels, seduced by Lucifer's promises of glory and influenced by their own jealousy and ambition, chose to follow him. Together, they formed a formidable force, determined to overthrow the Almighty and seize control of the celestial realm. This rebellion, which shook the very foundations of heaven, came to be known as the Fall. A celestial war like no other, fought with unimaginable intensity and consequences. Imagine the beauty of heaven suddenly torn apart by chaos, as beings of light turned against their Creator, determined to bring about a new order where they ruled supreme. It was a war that transcended physical boundaries, a battle of wills, with the fate of the universe hanging in the balance. But here's the twist: despite the scale and drama of this rebellion, the Bible doesn't provide us with all the details. We know that Lucifer and his followers were ultimately defeated, but the exact events of this celestial war remain shrouded in mystery. How did God respond to this act of betrayal? What was his response to the archangel, once so close to him, now turned enemy? And perhaps the most haunting question: what became of the fallen angels who followed Lucifer into this dark rebellion? Were they cast into eternal darkness, or was there something even more profound and terrifying in store for them? Lucifer and his followers were cast out of heaven, banished from the glory and peace they had once known. The rebellion was crushed, and the traitorous angels were cast into a place of unimaginable darkness, far from God's light, a realm known as hell. This was not just a physical punishment but a spiritual one, a complete severing from the divine presence they had once basked in. For all their beauty, power, and honor, they were now relegated to a state of perpetual shame, dwelling in an abyss of isolation. But here's where things get even more interesting: their story didn't end with their fall. Lucifer and the other fallen angels did not simply disappear into nothingness, as one might expect for such powerful beings. Instead, their influence remained, stretching far beyond their expulsion from heaven. After their fall, these former angels became something entirely different: demons. They transformed into agents of darkness, seeking to corrupt all that was good in God's creation. Their mission shifted from one of divine purpose to one of destruction, as they sought to lead humanity away from God, bringing chaos, temptation, and sin into the world. These demons, with their once pure nature now twisted and corrupted, became a constant threat to the human soul, whispering lies, fostering hatred, and pushing mankind toward rebellion against the divine order. They were no longer just fallen angels. They became forces of evil, working tirelessly to derail God's plan for creation. But this raises a question that has puzzled many for centuries. Why didn't God simply destroy them outright? Why, after all their treachery and betrayal, were they allowed to roam free in the world? Why didn't God wipe them from existence, as he did with their rebellion? And perhaps most unsettling of all, how do these fallen angels still affect us today? Are their whispers still influencing us in ways we can't fully understand? Could they be behind the suffering, temptations, and turmoil we experience in our world today? The answers to these questions reveal even deeper mysteries about God's justice, his mercy, and the ongoing battle between good and evil. Over the centuries, these fallen angels, now known as demons, have sought to influence human history in profound and often destructive ways. From the earliest days of mankind to the modern world we live in today, their presence can be felt in some of the darkest moments of human existence. They have been behind wars, suffering, and the spread of evil in places of power. If you've ever wondered why bad things seem to happen over and over again in the world, why suffering, injustice, and chaos seem to have no end, could there be a connection to these rebellious angels, cast out of heaven so long ago? Could they be the unseen force behind much of the pain and destruction we face? The Bible paints a chilling picture of the ongoing influence of these fallen beings. While they may no longer reside in heaven, their mission has not ended. Instead, they have continued to work tirelessly against God's divine plan for humanity. These demons deceive, tempt, and destroy. They seduce us into sin, manipulate our hearts, and distort the truth. They work from the shadows, pulling strings, planting lies, and driving people away from the light of God's truth. Their influence is far-reaching, shaping entire societies, and affecting individuals in ways that we may not even fully understand. But here's the big question. Are these fallen angels, these demons, still at work in our lives today? Could they be influencing you right now, without you even realizing it? In the choices we make, in the battles we face against temptation, in the feelings of fear, anger, and doubt that seem to come from nowhere, could they be the hidden force behind it all? From personal struggles to global crises, the fingerprints of these fallen beings are all around us. And the scariest part is that they may be working in ways we don't even perceive, subtly guiding our thoughts and actions, always pulling us away from God's light. Lucifer, once the most beautiful and powerful of all angels, now stands as the leader of the fallen angels, the ruler of hell, and the embodiment of evil in the world. His role in the ongoing battle between good and evil cannot be overstated. He plays a central part in the cosmic conflict that has raged since the dawn of time. But while we know Lucifer's nature, motives, and rebellion, one question remains. What is his ultimate goal? Is he still trying to overthrow God, to reclaim heaven and take control of the universe? Or is there something far deeper, more sinister at play that goes beyond just rebellion? What is Lucifer's true mission, and why does he continue to fight against everything that is good and holy? Lucifer's opposition to God is unrelenting. As the ruler of hell, he continues to spread darkness, sowing seeds of destruction and despair wherever he goes. His influence is behind every temptation, every lie, every act of evil that twists humanity away from God. But his rebellion is no longer just about pride or seeking personal glory. There is a much larger plan at work, one that involves far more than just himself. Lucifer is not simply trying to overthrow God's throne. He seeks to destroy God's creation itself, to unravel the very fabric of God's plan for the world. His true goal may not be what we initially thought. The deeper mystery lies in what Lucifer hopes to accomplish through this eternal war. Ultimately, Lucifer's endgame remains shrouded in mystery. What is he really trying to achieve, and how does it fit into the larger picture of the battle between light and darkness? Is he aiming to corrupt humanity to the point of no return, to turn the hearts of all people away from God, so that even if heaven is not his, the earth may be his domain? Or is there something even darker, more twisted, that we haven't yet fully understood about his strategy? And as the forces of light and darkness continue to clash, where does this conflict lead us in the grand design of God's plan? While the fate of the fallen angels seems sealed in many ways, there are some intriguing perspectives and questions that have emerged over time. Can these fallen beings, who once stood in the presence of God, ever be redeemed? Is it possible for them to find forgiveness and restoration? After all, the idea of redemption is central to many theological teachings, and the notion that even the most lost can be saved is a powerful one. So, what does that mean for the angels who rebelled and were cast out? Can there truly be a way back for those who turned against God? Some believe that even in the darkest of places, there's always a glimmer of hope, that even the most fallen might one day experience a transformation or return to the light. This is a big and deeply theological question, one that stirs debates among scholars, theologians, and believers alike. The Bible doesn't offer a clear-cut answer when it comes to the redemption of the fallen angels, but it does teach us powerful truths about God's grace and mercy. We see throughout Scripture that God's desire is for redemption, to restore all of creation to its original goodness. For humanity, we see that God has opened the door for salvation through Jesus Christ, offering forgiveness and a path back to righteousness, no matter how far one has fallen. But what about the angels who fell? Could they, too, ever be restored to God's grace? The Bible teaches us that angels are beings of great power and purpose, but they also possess free will, just like humans. If Lucifer and his followers made the choice to rebel, could they, in some way, choose to return to God's favor? Or is their rebellion so final, so irredeemable, that they are beyond hope? Some interpretations suggest that the fallen angels' decision was irreversible, that they chose their fate when they turned away from God's perfect will. Yet, there remains a sense of wonder and mystery. If God's love is truly boundless, could there be even a small chance for redemption, even for them? The idea of redemption for the fallen angels raises another important question. What does this mean for the rest of creation? If there is a glimmer of hope for the fallen, what does that say about God's intentions for the world and for us? Could this reveal a deeper layer to God's justice, His mercy, and His ultimate plan to restore all things to their original purpose? The possibility of redemption, even for those who seem lost beyond recovery, invites us to reflect on our own lives. Could it be that, no matter how far we stray, God's grace is always there, waiting for us to return? So, what really happened to the fallen angels? Well, the Bible tells us they were cast out of heaven, but their story didn't end there. They continue to play a significant role in the world, tempting and deceiving. As for their ultimate fate, we know that their rebellion is far from over. They're still fighting against God's plan for humanity. But one thing is clear: God's light will always shine brighter than the darkness. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think happened to the fallen angels? Are they still active today? Leave your thoughts and comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the mystery of the fallen angels, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next video.